The shell on the table is the size of a suitcase. It used to be a living turtle gliding through muddy water. In a few days, it will hang from the arm of someone who paid more than a month's salary for the privilege of calling it luxury. Most people who see a turtle shell handbag in a boutique never ask how it got there. Today, we're walking through the entire journey, from raw giant shells to polished glossy bags. Every cut, every chemical bath, every secret step the factories don't put on Instagram. If you like seeing how things are really made, not just the pretty showroom version, subscribe so you don't miss the next factory we step into. Our story starts far from the factory floor with a craftsman and a very different kind of turtle bag. Chris, an artisan working in the Ojibwe tradition, calls his creation a mishi kawayan, a turtle bag. He uses deerskin leather and the shell of a red-eared slider, a common freshwater turtle. For him, the shell isn't a luxury symbol. It's a cultural object, a spiritual and practical piece, made slowly and respectfully, one at a time. In his workshop, the process is almost ritual. The red-eared slider shell is cleaned by hand. The deerskin is tanned using methods that keep it soft and breathable. And every stitch is visible, imperfect, human. There's no conveyor belt, no roaring drum of machines. Just one shell, one pair of hands, and a story that goes back generations. That's one side of turtle shell craftsmanship. The other side begins when those shells arrive not in a small workshop, but at the loading dock of an industrial plant. Pallets stacked with massive dried shells. Some are as wide as a man's chest, with thick layered scoots that look like overlapping armor. Workers in rubber aprons unload them, stacking them like shields against a wall. Here, they're not sacred objects. They're raw material. The first step is brutal and practical, stripping away what the fashion world doesn't want. Any remaining tissue, fat, or membrane is scraped off with knives and rotary brushes. The smell is sharp, a mix of wet bone and old seawater. The shells are then soaked in large vats. These tanks contain a cocktail of water, detergents, and degreasing agents that penetrate the porous layers, pushing out oils and organic residue. Hours pass as the shells slowly lighten in color, the natural matte surface starting to look more like a blank canvas than a piece of an animal. Once clean, the shells move into the heart of the operation, the electrochemical and finishing section. The same factories that show off electroplated process clips for premium tempered glass use similar logic here. The idea is to transform a fragile, uneven surface into something that behaves like engineered material. The shells are dried, then carefully sanded to remove rough edges and level the surface. Any cracks are filled with resin, turning weak spots into solid glossy patches that will later disappear under finished coats. Then comes the industrial magic trick. The shells are mounted on racks and dipped into treatment baths, where an electrochemical process helps bind protective layers to the surface. Think of how tempered glass is treated to become tougher and more resistant. This is the turtle shell equivalent. A thin, almost invisible film forms, sealing the natural pores. When the shells come out and water is sprayed over them, droplets bead up and slide off in perfect spheres. The factory cameras love this shot. Water racing off the shell like it's repelling gravity. To the marketing team, that becomes premium finish and water-repellent luxury. With the shells now hardened, sealed, and leveled, the cutting phase begins. Designers have already mapped out the shapes needed for each bag model. Templates are laid over the flattest, most uniform sections of shell. Hydraulic presses punch out panels with a violent hiss, slicing through what used to be a protective armor plate, as if it were thick plastic. Smaller curved pieces are cut for decorative flaps, closures, or inlays. Every scrap is evaluated. In a material this rare and expensive, almost nothing is thrown away. Smaller fragments may become keychains, trims, or logo plates. Meanwhile, in another part of the factory, the leather part of the turtle leather bag is being prepared. Ironically, the majority of the bag is usually not turtle at all. High-quality cowhide or calfskin is tanned, dyed, and pressed into smooth, uniform sheets. These hides go through drums of chemical tanning agents, drying tunnels, and embossing rollers that give them a consistent grain. Only at the very end of the assembly line will the turtle shell and the leather meet. The assembly area is where the product finally starts to look like something you'd recognize in a boutique. Workers glue and stitch leather panels around stiff internal forms, building the bag's structure: sides, base, handles. Then, the turtle shell panels are brought in like VIP guests. Each piece is checked under bright lights. Any flaw, even a tiny bubble under the finish, can disqualify it from being used on the main face of a luxury bag. The best pieces are reserved for the most visible surfaces: the front flap, the central panel, the part that will appear in photos. Attaching shell to leather is a delicate balance between craft and engineering. The shell is rigid, the leather is flexible. To keep the shell from cracking under daily use, it's mounted onto slightly padded backing, then secured with a combination of industrial adhesives and hidden metal fasteners. Edges are beveled and wrapped so that the join between shell and leather feels seamless under the fingers. Hardware, clasps, buckles, and logo plates is added next, often in gold or polished steel to echo the glossy surface of the shell. By now, the original animal is almost unrecognizable. The shell's natural pattern, those irregular rings and scutes, has been polished until it gleams like lacquer. Any discoloration has been toned out with translucent dyes. Under the photography lights, the bag doesn't look like something that ever lived. It looks like a piece of high-end design, a status symbol that might appear in a 3-minute clip titled "Inside Turtle Leather Factory from Shells to Luxury Bags," and rack up over 100,000 views without a single viewer smelling the chemicals or seeing the waste bins. Quality control is the final gatekeeper. Inspectors run gloved hands over every surface, checking for micro scratches, uneven gloss, or misaligned seams. Zippers are opened and closed. Straps are pulled. Shells are tapped lightly to ensure there are no hidden fractures. Only the bags that pass this inspection are tagged, boxed, and prepared for shipment. The rest are quietly downgraded, repurposed, or dismantled for parts. The finished products will travel far, to department stores, private showrooms, and online listings where the description will talk about exquisite turtle shell detailing, but never about degreasing vats or electrochemical baths. What makes this whole process so striking is the contrast. On one side, Chris and his Ojibwe Mishikawayan, a red-eared slider shell, deerskin, and a story that treats the animal as more than material. On the other, an industrial system that takes giant shells, strips them, seals them, polishes them, and sells them as anonymous luxury. The same basic object, a turtle shell, is transformed either into a cultural artifact or a commodity, depending entirely on whose hands it passes through and what those hands are trying to achieve. This is the hidden logic of many exotic materials in fashion. The shell is not just cleaned, it is engineered. The electroplated style treatments, the water-repellent finishes, the resin-filled cracks, they're all there to make something unpredictable and fragile behave like a standardized product. When you see water sliding off a glossy surface in a factory video, it's not just a cool visual, it's proof that nature has been overwritten by industry. If you want to understand how far this logic can go, you have to see what happens when factories apply the same mindset to living tissue itself. The next step takes us from armor plates to muscle and fat, from shells to flesh. Modern snake meat plants use similar industrial thinking to turn a wild, dangerous animal into uniform cuts and packaged products. The same obsession with control, the same hidden processes, but this time, the raw material is still warm when it arrives. See you there.